Hey, I'm Veronica, and I was born 52 years ago to elderly parents. My mum was 42 and my dad was 58. And I was born 70% deaf. When I was just shy of my 7th birthday, 5 weeks before my 7th birthday, my dad went to bed and never woke up. And that was after that, I was being brought up by my mum as a single parent family in a council house on a council estate in Worthing. When just before he died, a few months before he died, we came to the Isle of Wight for a holiday, the three of us, and stayed in our hotel. Let's say the hotel was here. And a couple of years after he died, I came back to the Isle of Wight with the Friday Club, a youth group that was part of a church that I was very involved in. And we stayed in a hostel type place called Winchester House, which was here. So between these two places is an area of grass with seating that looks out over Sandown Bay in the Isle of Wight. And that became where the place where I would come to visit. My dad would come over every year for a holiday, and I would go there to see him. When I was 12, I was kicked in the knee, and that triggers rheumatoid arthritis. So I've had rheumatoid arthritis since I was 12. It's got progressively worse over the years. You can see it in my joints here and my fingers, and most of my joints are very much the same. And so as soon as I was 17, I was eager to learn to drive, to get some independent. And I persevered for 7 years, but I did not find this easy at all, trying to manage the gears and the clutch and looking out the window and checking the mirrors and all at the same time was way overwhelming for me. But my life actually changed when someone said you can learn to drive in an automatic. You don't need to be able to drive a manual car to be able to drive a car. And so I stopped trying to drive a manual car and switched to automatic. And within about 6 lessons, I passed my test. So I was happy. I had a little red automatic Mini, and I was now independently able to go out and about during the day. When it got to October, so that was in May. When it got to October, and the clocks are going back, I always known that I have impaired vision in the dark. I've never driven. I was not driving at night. I rarely go out at night. But I knew that when I'm trying to walk around, I can't see very well. And so I went to the optician to see if I could get some glasses that would help improve my night vision, in particular, knock back the glare, because when it's dark and raining, it's just a sheet of light. And when it's also bright sunshine, particularly when it's low, when it's low in the winter, it's just a sheet of light. I can't see a thing. And going from outside to inside takes me about 5 minutes. When I walk from outside to inside, I can't see anything. And the optician said, I can't help you because you've got an eyesight condition called retinitis pigmentosa. Now, ironically, typically, in the UK, when you receive that diagnosis, it immediately triggers your driving license being removed from you. 7 years to 6 months, it's gone. So what you're supposed to do, I don't know if you've ever had your driving license medically revoked, but what you're supposed to do, they write to you and they say in 6 days' time, you are no longer fit to drive, which really, I mean, I'm fit today and tomorrow and the day after that, but not. Doesn't make any sense. But you're then supposed to put the driving license into an envelope and post it back. But I'm 26. Not very happy about this at all. I mean, you've just taken everything that I've been striving for. So I didn't. And it ended up in policemen coming to my house to take the license off me. All the time I've been learning to drive, I had this dream, I had this vision that I wanted an Escort XR3i. This was my dream car. So at the point where I had to switch, or didn't have to, at the point where I switched to driving automatic, I kind of made peace with the fact that I was never going to drive an Escort XR3i. But having now have the license taken off me and not being able to drive anything, I figured, me and my husband at the time figured that we would reward ourselves with this XR3i. So what we did, we actually came to the Isle of Wight and we found a white XR3i with an Isle of Wight registration plate. And I'm like, wow, right. So from out of that, I've got this dream car with this connection to my island. But then moving on from there, I have to make a choice because now I'm hearing impaired, I'm vision impaired, I'm mobility impaired, I've got no independent. How do I go forward for the rest of my life? I'm 26. Do I stay home all the time? Or do I do something different to give myself some kind of life? So what I did is I moved my social life online. So I would go to work all day and I'd come home and I'd be typing to people to socialise with them. And moving on to through fast forward through the next few years, I qualified as a bookkeeper. I became a member of the Association of Accounting Technicians, a fellow member, and a member in practice. I set up my own self-employed bookkeeping and payroll bureau. In 2007, my marriage broke down, and for the next 2 years, finances got a bit tricky. And it meant in 2009, March 2009, I found myself in Brighton Court in front of a judge being declared bankrupt. And that's knocks you. It knocks your confidence, particularly when you're a bookkeeper and you're supposed to have a shit together about money. And so for the next year after that, I left Worthing and I moved in with my now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, in his flat in Red Hill, and took a couple of temporary admin type jobs, one for Surrey probation and then later for an insurance company doing the payroll. So I had a friend who was getting paid to write reports or something from home, and he used to tweet about it. And I was so envious. This is the life I want. I used to daydream about being paid to write from home. So when the payroll company let me go, suddenly, I said to Bill, I can't get another job. It's soul destroying. I want to write from home. So he said, as long as I could make my part-time income back within 6 months, he would let that happen. So I did. I set up an e-learning profile and started bidding for blog and article writing, and I just started getting paid to write from home. But then something happened that completely changed everything. I received an email from a guy called Nigel Butler, who was selling a social media management training program, to teach people how to become social media managers, where you do social media for people. And he said, business owners will pay you to help them get set up with social media, because this is 2010. It's still very new. Social media wasn't mainstream like it is now. I was like, wow, oh my God. I've been doing this for the last 15 years, going to work and coming home and doing this for fun, and I could get paid for it. And so I bought this course, realised that I knew a lot more about social media because I've been using it myself for a lot longer than he's been using it for himself. And that started the business that I'm in now. 6 months after that, we got married and live tweeted our wedding, which got quite a lot of interest because it was unusual. Twitter was really quite new at that time. Most people who were on Twitter were celebrities, and some of them came to our wedding via Twitter. People like Eamon Hong, Martin Lewis, the money saving guy, the Subways, Duncan Bannatyne. They all came to our wedding by tweeting us, and then we were showing their tweets on the big screen. And then business ticked on. My husband was working in an insurance company. And 3 years later, he was unhappy at his job and he wanted to leave. And I said, look, why don't you just leave and come here and look after the house and do all the stuff and help me, and I'll just grow the business. So that's what he did. And at that stage, we realised that we were no longer tied. We were no longer tied to Red Hill. We were no longer tied to Worthing. We were free to live wherever we wanted to live. And where did I want to live? The Isle of Wight. So that's what we did. We came over for holiday. We found a house. We gave the keys to his flat in Red Hill to a friend of mine who was an estate agent. Do it up, sell it, put 6 months rent down on this house in the Isle of Wight, and moved, hoping that we would sell the flat before I have to pay any more rent. And we did. And that's where we've been ever since. When I live on my dream island. Just up the road, ironically, just over there is the area that I come to see my dad. There's a cafe there now on that piece of ground, so we go there for a cup of tea and a bit of cake. Look over San Bay, Bluebeard's Cafe if you ever hear. The bit of green area is right there, and we live here, and we love it here. The energy is so amazing here. And that's a life that I've managed to achieve by building an online business. So what I do now is I help introverts, other introverts like me, to build their online business, to create online programs that they love, to all services that they love, where they're working online, so they've got flexibility, to write sizzling sales copy, to sell these online programs and services, to build an audience and nurture their audience online, social media, email, whatever, and to create a business that they absolutely love, working with clients that they enjoy, flexibly, working from wherever they live, because when we moved here, it had no impact on my business at all, because people know me, as far as most people are concerned, I'm in here, right? So it doesn't matter where we are. And that's what I help my clients to do, is to create these online programs that I absolutely adore, that they call in the clients that they love and that they're friends with, they will choose as friend. And without having to change who you are, find the way that works your path of least resistance, and build the online life business, so as much or as little as you want, some or all online, some or all offline, whatever fits for you. But I have my life here online. Even my Chihuahua has her own Facebook page. So that's me. And I'm looking forward to getting to know some of you through your videos as well. Good luck.